Jasper.
Okay.
Welcome students. I'd like to introduce Sam Clayton, Principal Child and Family Social Worker, working here in Lincolnshire. And Sam, I'm interested to talk to you today about signs of safety. This follows on from talking to Daniel Marshall, your colleague the other day, around signs of safety training. Particularly really your take in terms of what you think Lincolnshire University should be doing in terms of social work training.
Okay. In terms of signs of safety, it's very much about relationship-based social work, and it's about working with families in a collaborative way to help them identify their own solutions really to their problems. So I think in terms of working with the university, this really requires really high-level communication skills from your practitioners. They need to be able to engage people who are hard to reach. They need to be really skilled in appreciative inquiry as a technique in eliciting the information from the families that they're working with, and very professionally curious about what the family has got in their repertoire really to deal with their difficulties. So I think this is about honing people's observational skills and them using that and pulling that into their day-to-day practice with really quite high level communication skills and the confidence to be able to ask quite difficult and challenging questions, but in a way that's palatable to the family.
So there's a lot of values around, a lot of skills around communication there. What might be some of the values that might be important for emerging practitioners?
I think in terms of values, it's got to be about being respectful to people and treating them as experts of their own situation. So listening to what they say, but also being really honest with them if what they're saying is unrealistic or unsafe for the children. So it goes back to you being really clear about what your bottom line is about your tolerance and how you manage risk and how you make decisions. So you need to have a really clear understanding of what the risks are and what it is that professionally you're worried about in terms of the safety of those children. That clarity then helps the decision-making process, but it also helps the family understand what it is you're actually worried about. And I think that perhaps over some years we've lost the ability to be really quite direct and honest with people, and been more focused on some of the performance management and government agendas around things that we've had to do, forgetting that at the end of the day, having a relationship with the person that you're working with is what will facilitate change in their life.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And I mean, could I ask you another question then, in terms of moving forward, because I'm aware that practice in signs of safety is really developing, taking off in Lincolnshire and elsewhere around the East Midlands. What do you see as the way forward in terms of developing practice further?
I think what Lincolnshire's benefited from with signs of safety is involvement with the Innovation Project, and that will conclude in March for us. But I think what it's done is it's helped people refocus, think about some of the reasons why they wanted to come into social work in the first place, and enabled them to work in a way that they want to work with people on a one-to-one basis. I think for the children's social workers, this is about being able to undertake direct work with children, which is something that perhaps they haven't focused on as much historically. I think in terms of moving forward for us, it's about keeping the momentum going. It's about making sure that new starters to the organisation understand the model as a framework to practice, and that they're given the skills to be confident in doing that work with the children and families that they're the social worker for. So I think that's an ongoing journey of work. I think I would hope that this approach to working with children and families actually gives people more job satisfaction, and so this would help sustain them in social work, and social work is still a very demanding career. So hopefully that would enable them to develop their own personal resilience, but also sustaining the profession for perhaps longer than people have historically. So it builds into that sustainability around being able to deal with quite challenging issues and challenging people, but feeling like you do make a difference and can help them change some of that to improve the quality of life for themselves and the children.
Excellent, thank you.
All right.